Yay! Hello, hello, and welcome back to Training Tuesday. We've been gone for a couple weeks because we were at an event a couple weeks ago. It was at Social Media Strategy Summit in Dayton, Summit up in Dayton. Social Media Strategy Summit is coming up. So many conferences, so little time. But here we're going to be talking about social media marketing world and some of the themes that we heard throughout the event, our top takeaways, and how that will apply to your social media strategy that you're doing today. So, hey, if we've not met before, my name is Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. My awesome co-host, he's Mike Gingrich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular apps Waftio, Tabsite, published author extraordinaire, and all-around great guy. How's it going, Mike? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, and it's sunny out. You can see behind me, and man, so that's a great breakthrough. And looking forward to being back in the saddle here with you and finding out a little bit more about what happened, talking about some of the topics, things like that. So it's good to be here, and I hope we get a good crowd joining us. So please pass this on, share it out, and let people know we're there.
Yeah, I'm going to share this out. And before I forget, this show is sponsored by Social Media Week Lima, happening June 18th and 19th in Lima, Ohio. You can go to sociallima.com. We will hear several more topics and all of that about Social Media Week Lima as this Training Tuesday continues, and we'll mention some more at the end here. But yeah, I'm excited to be back here today to talk about all the things that are buzzing with social media marketing world. I'm finally getting my voice back. So I'm excited. And funny enough, our picture showed up in the memories for me of you, April Havens-Woodcock, and Jacob and I. We went to visit Jacob's office. So I'm calling for a reunion in 2020. It's got to happen.
Yep, I saw that one. That was a great memory, and yeah.
It was
timely, very timely. Yeah, no. So, looking forward to talking about this, and looking forward to being out in Lima in June at your event there. I mean, what I'm most excited about is just the lineup that you have this year. I mean, I'm coming back again I'm a multi-year attendee here and speaker at the event, but you have grown it, and just the group that's there. So folks, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about it, I don't care where you're from in the US. I mean, if you can drive there, you can fly there, that type of thing, because
take a train.
Tremendous lineup. Yeah. Tremendous lineup, and a very reasonable cost for that tremendous lineup. So and this is going to be delivering some goods. So when you listen to us today, think through some of these, what she's talking about, and I think Jessica's even going to quote some of the people who are going to be at Social Media Week Lima. And so you want to hear them in person. You want to hear them expound upon a message to help you with your marketing related to online social media. It's going to be a good topic today, and a good place to be to meet those people in person. Hear that in June.
Absolutely. And if you guys have attended Social Media Marketing World, I want to hear your top takeaways as we go through too, and your thoughts on the session, because we definitely won't be able to cover everything that was shared there, because let's be honest, there were so many amazing sessions to choose from, and I definitely did not get to them all, but heard some common themes. So I wanted to just pick some call outs of things that really stood out to me that was yes, this is what it is right here. This is what we need to be focusing on as brands. And I'm sure you were following along even on Twitter, even though you weren't there, and Facebook, and seeing some common things that you were amen in as well, and cheering for as well, Mike. But yeah, so let's get into it.
Yeah. So I think, I've been there multiple years again, and typically Mike Stelzner, founder of Social Media Examiner and Social Media Marketing World, kind of does an opening keynote. So I think that was the ongoing trend, and you've got some key takeaways from his, initial keynote as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. So I broke these into top 3 overarching themes that I heard, but starting with the first key point, and it was definitely Michael Stelzner that kind of brought it back together. So how Social Media Marketing World set up is workshops are on day 1. And then, which is Wednesday, Thursday is the all access pass official kickoff to the event, which is like the traditional sessions, and starts with Michael Stelzner kind of giving the report on where we're at today with social and kind of the trends. So I'm always super like interested to hear what he's seen with his data, because he's got a lot of data that he's been pulling and focusing on, and he kind of sets the tone for what's to come for the next year plus, right? And one big thing that I heard, that if I had to sum it all up, was that you focus on smaller communities that will win in the long run. So connecting, not content. So it's a big shift from before. It's like, okay, we're going to focus on all this content and, you know, how you're creating it and the means to create it. And it's like, don't even focus on that yet. It's focusing on first, am I going to connect, and then be able to show up with the content to support my connection. So he mentioned this in a way of going private. So he said, like, we won't even recognize Facebook in 2020. That there are so many changes that are happening, and Facebook, like, alluded to this in their F8 conference last year that we covered, and we said that they were only, like 10% done with the changes, and that was like at a massive rate that they're rolling out these changes, and they're still not done. And that what they're really focusing on is that, and Mari said this too, that the news feed was never about the news, right? And it was never about the news. And if we think what Facebook, and we've been talking about all these algorithm shifts and all these brands going crazy about it, right? Is that it's not meant for us to just be pushing content out. It is made for meaningful connections and the engagement that we're going to get out of it. So we really have to look at how Facebook has shifted. So even if you think about you and I, and even as I was at the event, how I used Facebook was incredibly different. So yes, I used my Facebook personal page to upload albums and stuff, but the majority of my time was spent in Facebook Messenger. And that is what all the data is showing. And everyone else at this event, they were spending a lot of the time in Messenger with the communities of people that they want to connect with. Now, granted, our Messenger group thread kept growing as the event went on, and we made more meaningful connections of people that we wanted to have in that conversation that was happening.
Yeah.
And I love this because every time I'm asked what my favorite social platform is, I've always said Messenger, because I look at it as a separate platform anyway. And because it is those one-off relationships that you can have back and forth. And those threads are still going on today. It's almost like our own personal kind of Facebook page for ourselves, with all these conversations happening back. And the reason I think that this is growing is because of the privacy issues, one, that Facebook has seen, right? So people are kind of give this false sense of security if they're in the Messenger or in a Facebook group, which I'll talk a minute about that as well. But it's this false sense of security that we want to just connect with people, one, that we trust, and two, we want to know that they're seeing what we have to say. And that's more of a guaranteed way that they're seeing it versus just putting it on the newsfeed. And we want to be able to engage with them and have those meaningful moments. So we're seeing more and more people that are uploading to stories as a form of, of a private way of connecting, because you can choose who is seeing that.
Right.
Messenger. And then, even Facebook groups, a huge growth in groups. And Facebook is showing, if you take a look at anything that they're doing and where they're spending a lot of their efforts and the things that they're updating groups. And I love this. And I know that a former speaker at Social Media Week Lima loves this as well. And she's going to be back this year, Bella Vasta. And I attended her session and it was freaking amazing. She summed it up as be the destination. So as people are going to Facebook and they're wanting to connect, and people are logging on there sometimes for boredom, but a lot of times because they have something to say or they want to see someone, that how can you flip what you're creating to be a destination where people want to hang out? That thread that you are creating, how can you build that group that is a destination that people say, hey, I want to meet you in there, versus having to spontaneously run into your content on the newsfeed. And it's super smart to think about it that way, because that's how we want to hang out. If you think about it, we're not just randomly, like if we're out in our car wanting to go out somewhere, just randomly stopping by and seeing, what's happening in different places. We want to go to a destination because we know that's where our good vibe tribe is going to be hanging out. Yeah. And that's who I want to connect with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, I think that's, really interesting. And we've seen that. What was it that Mark Zuckerberg just shared I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, basically, about some of the changes coming to Facebook and how they're, kind of going. Now he talked about a little bit more private, but his emphasis was on the messaging, which Messenger is a piece of that. Then, and so you're backing that up just from the experience. He's talking about from a platform standpoint of that's the way they want to go, and then you're talking about it from an experiential standpoint of this is how you saw it used. I mean, you're at a conference where there's a couple thousand people, and you guys broke that down to your tribe through Messenger, and then that tribe would add on some
more people throughout the week
that they were connected to, and so that was the vibe of the tribe.
I have to mention this comment that Lisa Monks put up. Bella is a boss, first of all. Queenie, love her. And in her session, she had everybody be the destination. So you have to do the arms like when you say it. So super high energy, fantastic. This was her first time speaking at Social Media Marketing World, but I guarantee it will not be her last because she's Bella Vasta, man. Like you love her. You have fun with it. So but you're right. That's how we interacted the whole time. And honestly, I heard from a lot of people that they were just being in the moment, right? We were just having these moments with each other. And yes, we were taking pictures and sometimes tweeting stuff, but there was a lot less of people doing that in the moment when we were in a group. Besides our poke war that we had at the end of the night, that's a whole other conversation for another day. We were bringing the poke back. So, but it was those moments like that of really connecting. And that's how we have to think about it as a brand from a human perspective of how can we get our teams involved? How can we get our companies involved with our current clients? I hosted a session on relationship marketing, and I said it like this. I mean, we have to turn our followers into true fans, right? Our community of people that we are all like-minded, serving the same audience, into collaborators together, and our clients into advocates, because there was a lot of talk on building influence. Like the only way in order to get invited into this party, into this destination, as Bella says, is to have some level of influence around people. And the only way to do that is to build those relationships and to stand out in this whole noisy online world that's there. So how can you build that influence? How can you make somebody feel something and create an experience from it? So there were several talks on different ways of doing this, right? Like we're doing right now, live video, of course. That was a huge topic. There were several sessions on it. Everybody with their own, add 2 key points on how to do this. But it's like, hey, you have to at least do it, right? Like just show up. Michael Stelzner talked on it on his point is like, what are you all so scared from? Like, why are you holding back when we're preaching it to our clients and you're not showing up yourself? Because it really starts with the individual and getting the teams involved and just everyone just showing up and starting where you're at and not worrying about all the technicalities. I know we talk about that a lot here, but showing up and truly trying to build your influence to a smaller group, not focusing on how many likes and views am I going to get? It's more, how many conversations are we going to start as a result? And who can I impact truly and have some influence over, right? So lots on live video for sure. They're saying the poke is back. The poke is back. Oh, goodness. So like little things like that. We built influence over a lot of people, just bringing back the poke wars. I'm sure Facebook didn't even remember that was still a feature. And Mike, I apologize if I have not sent a poke to you. I will do that right after this.
All right. Yeah. Now let's see. So Messenger, but I'd like to spend a little bit more time on stories as well, just because that is, they've given it dominant space in the Facebook app now. Up at the top there, you begin to see those types of things, and we're just being able to see stories gain more and more traction. And again, groups have the opportunity for stories, pages have the opportunities for stories, but stories seems to be a little bit more personal as well compared to the news feed. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree, because it's showing you, right? Like people don't have to guess what you're trying to say and read between the lines. It's showing you. It's authentically you showing up and showing your face. They can see you smile. They can hear your tone. They can tell if you've lost your voice or not from social media marketing world. They can see you, and they can get behind the logo if you're a brand and see the people that are there creating it. One of the talks I loved was on, Mark Schaefer. He was the closing keynote, and he was talking about just brands from back in the day to today, right? And he was saying how he used the example of soap, and this is in his book as well, The Marketing Rebellion. But he was talking about Ivory Soap having such a domination of the market of soap, and they spent all this money on marketing, right? And they owned it. And now today, they've lost so much market share, and what's growing are some of like these mom and pop shops and these specialty boutiques. And it all came to a head for him when he went to his friend's house, and he was in the bathroom, and he brings out and he was like, "Hey, tell me about this soap," and they were like, he was like, "What made you choose this soap over another?" Marketers always trying to do some research on their friends. And they were like, he was like, "Do you really love this brand?" And they said, "No, I don't love the brand, but I love the hands that made it," right? And he was talking about how we as individuals will make a decision and connect with someone because we love the people that are creating the thing. We've had some kind of emotional thing that we can't always articulate, but they've resonated with us on a level that is more meaningful than any marketing message could be at all. And actually, that's how I led my talk on relationship marketing was, 80% of consumers do not trust marketers. They don't trust us anyway. So you have to show up in a way that is meaningful and truly building a connection. And one way of doing that faster is through stories, is through video, is through one-off micro moments, is through these private communities. So you're going to see kind of this common thread through there as we talk.
Got it. Hey,
drive down. Mm-hmm.
And Jessica, just in the mode of recognizing the community. We got a whole bunch of people chatting here, so we should give some attention to some of the comments coming in there.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Tony Christensen, thanks for joining us. And I liked his, after Mike's keynote, he's been giving more focus on posting more to stories, and he sees how they're taking over, show that personality. So, I mean, that's, backing that up. Deanna, less content, more connecting. Stephanie's in the house.
Hold on one second. I'm excited. Tony's coming to Social Media Week Lima. Have you met him before?
I haven't, no.
I'm super pumped. I met him the last day that I was at Social Media Marketing World with a great group of some of these other amazing individuals that are in here that we'll give shout outs to. Okay. But he's coming to Social Media Week Lima. So whoop whoop on that. And all Deanna.
Right. Tony, where's Tony from?
Tony, where are you from?
All right, keep going while he comments.
So definitely Deanna, I got to hang out with her at a dinner there. I got to meet her actually first time in Denver at the Queenie's retreat and had just an amazing conversation with her. What an amazing person. Stephanie Lou is in the house. Whoop, whoop. Lights, camera, live. That's my girl. She's awesome. She just freaking rocked her session. I heard nothing but positivity from everybody that was there. They were just such high energy, and she will be speaking at Social Media Week Lima. Excited for that. Michael's in the house. He said, definitely took away the importance of stories and more of a 121 relationship building an opportunity. 1-to-1. Yes, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't get it. An opportunity to communicate and connect with our individual clients. Yeah, absolutely. And he's definitely a person that does that. He had a lot of fun at the event as well.
All right, Tony's saying Bellevue, Washington. So, I mean, so we got people from all over the country that are coming into Lima, Ohio. That's going to be the place to be in June.
That's right. sociallima.com. Can't wait. Yeah. So, and hello to everyone else. Lisa Monks, Southside Spartans, they're here in Lima. Hello. Eddie Garrison, how are you guys? So awesome. Yeah, keep your takeaways coming for sure. One of our other friends that are coming to Lima that I had a lot of great takeaways from, Chris Strub, he talked on Twitter, right? So of course, taking these themes, applying it to specific networks, and he was talking about Twitter and how you can use it in a unique way. And he said, one thing that you have to do is find your alphas. And what he was saying with that, meaning, okay, you're going to have all these thousands of connections on there, right? And we know about Twitter lists and we know about these other tools that we could potentially use, but it's really important to know your alphas. So who's engaging with you the most and who is the most influential? Like, who should you get to know? Who do you already know? Like, who's already supporting you in your message? And really get to know your alphas, and then take it from there and really start engaging with them. So he used an app, Twitonomy, I think is what it's called. I'll have to find the link and share it, to help him find this data, right? But he's like, whatever tool you use, there's other ones out there, but truly know who are your alphas within your Twitter and focus and double down on that. Now, he did give some other opportunities, of course, stand out, like, engage with someone's pinned tweet, because they're going to be like, hey, man, like, usually it's something they really care about. And they may have put it up in 2016 or something. You never know.
But it was up for a reason.
It's up for a reason.
Yeah.
And not just hit the heart and the retweet, but say a comment back, say something directly back to them, start the conversation, right? Start the engagement without just the simple like and retweet. Like, how can you do that? Send a direct message to someone that's not spam, send a video reply, but really getting intentional about your connecting and looking at who your alphas are connecting with too. So where's the possibility of a overlap and an alignment within your tribe to where you can really start building that influence that needs to happen overall.
And thanks, Tony. Tony's dropping in the links that we're looking for. So twitonomy.com there, it's in the comments.
I knew I liked you, Tony. Good job.
And the other thing that Chris Strub is always known for, and I mean, I know you do it well on Messenger, but he does it very well on Twitter, because that's kind of his go-to is the video greeting. So you can do kind of that one-to-one video message, a reply, and that's so much more personalized, and just can leave such a impact and an impression on someone. So a video reply on Twitter, but again, we're not just limited to that. It can be voice reply on Messenger. It can be, those types of pieces that are there that personalize the message.
Yeah. And he had the similar kind of tone that Michael Stelzner was kind of leaning more on Facebook about, but he was leaning more on Twitter, kind of saying the same thing. Like, what is the closest thing that you can create to a live event, to a live interaction, right? Yeah. Like, that's how you know you're really building the community and influence. Like, what can you create? So like for Chris as well, and several others that are in here, they participate like in tweet chats. Like, that's the closest thing to a live event, hanging out, that you can do that's really going to feel like community, right? Like, and how else can you get real, raw, and intimate within your conversation? So like, as you mentioned, he's fantastic at doing video replies, as are some others that are in this group. Stephanie Liu is great about sending video messages back into individuals and really responding back when every time I've sent her a message in Instagram, she doesn't just reply with a thank you or a like. It's always like a follow-up question that says that she's paid attention to whatever I'm doing, which is really super cool. And it makes you feel like, oh, she's really connecting with me, right? And I am a fangirl of the audio message, because I'm usually doing something that's hectic or whatever and can't always do a video, but I'm a fan of the audio message. Yeah. How can you humanize whatever you're doing and take it a step further and make it feel the closest you can to a live interaction that's real, raw, and intimate? So it's going to be super challenging for brands to think this way unless they get some people involved other than just the logo that's responding. It's going to be
people
hard.
Involved other than just the logo, and it's much more than just pushing. And I think, I mean, that's the key, and that's like an old school mentality, with Facebook, and then even the news feed, it's posting, or even with Instagram, news feed, posting, and what you've identified here, what they're saying, what we've experienced is that people have moved on. I mean, if you want to go with audiences, then you need to be aware of stories, because they've moved on from just that news feed, and they're looking at stories. And if you want to capture their attention when they do engage, how can you personalize that response?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's see. So we got some Bella in, we've got some Mike Stelzner, we got some Strub in.
I gotta mention my boys, Andrew and Pete.
All right, let's do it.
I was so excited for them, first of all, because they are freaking crushing it on all the content that they're doing. So I was so excited for them to see them be one of the keynotes at the event. And I loved their approach. That was probably the biggest takeaway for me that I really had to step back and say, you know what? Like, they got a point. Their whole approach was the 90-10, but not from the 90-10 rule that we're probably used to hearing. But their 90-10 was all about how can you do one of the platforms, one thing really remarkably well in order to stand out instead of just doing something because it's better than nothing. So they were like, something is not better than nothing. Like, how can you stand out and truly be remarkable and focus 90% of your efforts on doing that thing really well, whether that's YouTube, and you're like my girl, Kelly Noble Marabella, which she took this approach and doubled down on YouTube on her chatbots, and Baby Got Bot course, and has seen exponential growth like on that because she took that approach. Or maybe it's your blog content, and you're really focusing in on that, or SEO, and you're using YouTube instead, or you are doubling down on creating the most remarkable Instagram stories. If you notice the people that we pay attention to and that have truly built influence, you'll see that they do have one platform that really stands out above the others. It's really hard to do everything at 100%. So they're saying, it's not to say you can't spend 10% of your time like still dabbling and paying attention and staying on top of the other networks, but just double down on that area that you really can truly build your influence and reach your goal a lot faster at.
Okay. Hashtag baby got bot. I like that. Stephanie. Yeah. No, I think that, there's a question out there for Mark. Maybe you want to address that one. Mark Myers is asking, this makes sense on social. Can it translate to email as well? Now, I know you've got a lot of experience with some emails, and things that you've done to personalize there. So
good question.
Give it to him.
Good question, Mark, and great meeting you this last week as well. Super glad to see you here. But yeah, so I do this all the time. This was actually part of my relationship marketing workshop. And one of the things that I do for all emails that I send back to someone that maybe it's a first time meeting them, or I want to personalize something, whether I'm sending them a proposal or whatever it may be, I use a tool called BombBomb. And that's a video reply. So it plays directly in their inbox, and that way it personalizes a lot more. Now, I have not used a tool just for audio, but I'm sure there's one that's out there. But you can use BombBomb and just have a photo there and it plays a message, as you could also like a YouTube video where it just has photo and then you run your audio over it. So it's technically still a video, but you wouldn't have the video component to that. So yes, you can use that. I highly, 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 highly recommend doing so. I've seen such a greater conversion rate and the speed of response back with doing video. Just simply by explaining things and that people can see you, they can hear you, and it's a faster means to connect. So I know there's BombBomb, BOMB.com. That's a tool that does this.
Link is in the comments.
Awesome. I know there's also a tool called Buongiorno, that I've heard mentioned several times. I'm not familiar with, but I know that that's out there as another option. And then for HubSpot users as well, they have video built into some of your automation processes that you can do within that tool as well. And if you're familiar with another tool that I didn't mention, feel free to drop the link in there. But those are the ones that I'm the most familiar with. And as far as audio goes, I know like it's a social app-esque, but like I use Voxer a lot. Actually, I'm getting ready to launch a mastermind private group, and the whole premise is using Voxer to communicate back and forth. That is just audio direct messages back and forth to each other, and you can create a group in there just with audio messages back and forth. So Voxer I've seen grow so much. Every day I get pinged that more and more of my connections are using it. So I would just play around with it if you're interested in doing audio. And then another thing is, podcasting was mentioned quite a bit. There's a huge growth in podcasting and with audio overall, especially with, Alexa, Flash Briefing. I don't want to say the other names of them because all my systems will go off in here, but all the home, systems that you can set up in place for audio. So like Alexa Flash Briefings and things like that to get even more personalized with some of your content. So people are hearing your voice while they're on the search or hunt to solve a problem or get some entertainment that way.
But the key then is don't get overwhelmed with everything and the possibilities.
Yeah.
But and what I heard you say, Andrew and Pete said, what
Mhm.
can you double down on? What's
Yeah.
going to be that one spot where you should really
Mhm.
go after it and try to put your best effort?
Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of bringing it back to that, building influence, right? So the 90%, because Jay Baer talked on Talk Triggers, which is his book, and he was saying this, that you have to give people something to talk about, because that is the future. And that was also mentioned in my talk on word of mouth. That is the thing that people trust more than any other form of marketing, is that word of mouth. So while 80% of consumers don't trust marketing, they do trust their peers. So
Yeah.
how can you go from just that know, like, trust to that referral? And how can you create talk triggers, like those talking points, not only on because people love working with you, but you're giving them something to talk about. You're giving them an experience. You're giving them something personalized. You're allowing them to be the storytellers of your brand for you. Your consumers, like, you're giving them something to play, do, have, be, that is going to want them to share and start taking ownership of being the marketers for your brand. And the only way to do that is by creating remarkable content that's super engaging.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can answer that one for Southside Spartans. They're asking, is BombBomb a good thing for businesses? And your answer would be yes. I can say that because Jessica, you're B2B and you're using it to personalize that message from as a business, but to give it a personalized experience via email there.
Yes. Yep. So all my clientele are B2B and high level, for the most part, of non-traditional industries, that it's a surprise for them. They're not used to it. And they're like, wow. So and that's what you want to create, those wow moments, things that they're not expecting, that it's taking it a level deeper, that you can just sneak in there and be like, hey, like, I'm in your inbox, and it's a video. So it's standing out.
Now, so I'm looking at a slide here that you gave me, and because I'm curious about this, when it says only 38% of people are regularly using Instagram stories. And, because for me, Instagram stories are the bomb. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of traction, a lot of opportunity, a lot of engagement. I mean, the way to reach people, connect with people, that type of thing. So was that statement saying, hey, it's growing? Or what was that statement in relation to?
Yeah, stories as a whole is growing. So on all the platforms. So it was saying, like, 38% of people are regularly using Instagram stories now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I found myself doing this more as well. Like, I haven't dived into IGTV, although I've seen some creators that are doing some phenomenal things, and I've been looking, right? But I find myself going through the stories, and it becomes like addicting. Like, you want to see those live moments more than I'm starting to scroll this way a lot more than this way.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
So, and then they're saying, like, only 49% of people, though, are using live video. I think what the message was saying is that people are using it more, but it's still only this percentage. So there's still an opportunity. So if you feel like, I can't use stories because there's already so many people there that it's going to get missed.
Yeah.
No, you still can. And you stand out by being remarkable and building that influence and picking your platform. Because another one, that was mentioned here is YouTube. YouTube has grown phenomenally. It's 57% are regularly using YouTube. And not just YouTube, they're using also now, starting with LinkedIn, you've started seeing a lot more video, and I foresee that one growing more as well. So without mentioning all these as like, oh my God, it's amazing. Again, starting thinking back to what Andrew and Pete said, focusing on which one do you really want to double down on the most. And then looking for opportunities of testing and seeing how things are shifting and growing.
Got it. All right. Where do you want to go next?
Oh my gosh. So we're almost at time, but I wanted to just hit on just a couple other things that were mentioned.
Okay.
Again, kind of some of the takeaways from Mark Schaefer's talk. He was saying that it's not about our story, it's about their story, meaning that, as I mentioned a little bit ago, about allowing your customers and your clients to be able to tell your story for you. Think about how you can include them in. So whether that is interviewing them, bringing them into the live video, creating the opportunities, but remember, it's not about your story. It's about their story and how they can foresee themselves using your brand, your product, your service. And that the personal brand is now the company brand. That kind of goes back into saying that we have to, humanize it so much more. Like his last slide was be more human. So I love that. I love where this is going as, a nerd of relationship marketing.
Mhm.
I loved hearing that undertone to all the talks that were shared. And yeah, I'm excited
So
for.
I'm guessing that's why you're hoarse, because you were screaming.
I've
been talking relationship marketing for years.
I know. That was it. Yeah. Yeah. It was just like every time somebody would walk up, I'd be like, it's you, and hug. And I don't even know you, but I'm excited. Like screaming. Yeah. So everybody I've talked to, and we've been sending audio messages back and forth. It's been kind of funny because all of us are hoarse. And George Demanis, I don't know if he's in here or not, but oh my God, somebody tag him because I want to know if he's still hoarse. He was one of our group threads that we had going on throughout the event. And toward the end, he was so hoarse. So he was taking requests, and he was like doing audio messages into the group, taking requests of how he can say it in his deep man voice. So I was like, okay, you need to do voicemails for all of us, and like in the movie theatrics tone. And here's what I want my voicemail message to say. Like recording all these messages. No, but I think that was it. The live experience, we mixed everything that we were talking about that brands should be doing was happening at this live event. It was one-to-one connecting. It was, sharing experiences together. It was connecting through private messages afterward. There were opportunities where we got away and had our own moments. Like that event was the epitome of what we did in person that you should be doing online to truly make those meaningful moments where people are screaming and losing their voice afterward.
Got it.
But yeah, I wanted to comment one thing on here. I seen Jeff say that he's uploading the videos and the audio for the, where did he say that? Yeah, he's uploading the video and the audio. So I'm excited to check out all the other speakers that I did not get to watch because there were so many amazing. A couple other shout outs. Brian Fanzo, of course, was amazing in his talking on relatability. That's the future of marketing. He's going to be speaking at Social Media Week Lima, touches on these points, and super proud of my girl Jennifer Ast, and she was talking on live video and just the power of it and how it doesn't have to be perfect. And she was using some of the Weather Channel's examples. Her session was phenomenal. Freaking everybody's session that I seen was phenomenal. And one others that I seen that I highly would recommend checking out was Jen Herman as well. She had a phenomenal session on Instagram. So just a call out to a couple of those sessions that I thought were really amazing for the platform specific or application of all these ideas that were shared were kind of the overarching theme throughout the event to apply that through the session. Definitely check those out.
Okay. Yeah. My big summary is, the couple thousand people attend that. My experience there in previous years, kind of what you're reiterating today is what makes it valuable is kind of breaking that big thing down to a smaller group. And then that group, when it brings in, everyone knows one, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's, it's creating that intimate setting within a larger entity. And really that's what we need to do on social media networks. And that's what's going to get through. And then again, going back to like Andrew and Pete, it's like, don't spread yourself so thin. I mean, that's just like, thank you. That feels good. It feels like relief. And then to focus in on a platform that's your go-to, that's going to be helpful for your business. And then, how can I personalize that? And I've seen it again. I mean, just responding to messages that come in on a Facebook page, and trying to be timely with that, those types of pieces, or replying to someone's a comment on your story in a direct message in Instagram, and just, the power that gives. I mean, they would comment on that, and the next thing you know, that they're following you and they're liking, your other content, and they've kind of latched on, and just that value of breaking it down, being responsive, being personable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to finish with Caitlin's message here. She said, as an Instagram user, echoing like what you're saying with scrolling through her feed, she rarely scrolls through the feed, but she will watch every single one of the active stories because of the FOMO. And Michael Stelzner, talked on that as well. And you're talking on that as well. Like, people want to be included. They want to be part of it. It's one of the hierarchy of needs is belonging, and belonging is a piece of, wanting to be invited into that party and into that thing. And it's giving access to people to feel like they are invited because they are, and I think if you can think about going live and creating those moments that way, that's what you're doing. You're just inviting all those people in because you want to give them a sense of a belonging and connection with you as well. And so it's just time to kind of flip the script on how we're looking at marketing as brands to be more like that, be relatable, build relationships, give people the sense of belonging with your tribe. And you'll see a massive shift this year and years to come. It's bringing the social back in social media, Mike. I'm excited.
There we go. Yeah. And I, and again, I like the concept of Social Media Week Lima just because, again, not thousands. You got a nice crowd in the hundreds there. So there's that kind of intimate experience. You can get to know a lot of people, and the way it's set up, speakers are very accessible and interactive there. Then, that's that concept, just extending that forward there.
And our group is popping, our Facebook group. I don't know if people still say that. I'm showing my age now. But, our group is super active because that's what it is. And that's what it is. It's just a reunion for all of us friends that have been connecting in the group together to get together. So highly encourage, if you missed out Social Media Marketing World, you want another event to go to, or even if you went to the event and you want to keep it going with another lineup of incredible, amazing humans, Social Media Week Lima, definitely the place to be in June. June 18th, June 19th is the sponsor of this show. You can go to sociallima.com to find out more details on that. And yeah, man, this 40-something minutes went super fast, Mike. I'm excited to be back, though, with you, talking about all the takeaways there, and excited for next week as well. We'll be back here next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Magnet Marketers Training Tuesday Live. Thanks so much, Mike.
Yes. Hey, great.
Thanks everyone for being
talk
here.
About this. Love the interaction from the group. We just we need to get back next week. Thanks, guys, for joining in. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going.
Let's do it. All right, guys, have a good rest of your week. Thanks for joining in. And keep the conversation going in the comments. I'll talk with you there.
All right, take care.
Yeah.